Hello everybody, this is Kostas Takas and this is our 6th tutorial in Photoshop. Now in this tutorial I'm going to show you a little bit about rotating and cropping photos in Photoshop. Now let's just start by viewing the crop tool. The crop tool is the 5th on your toolbox. And if you don't see it, just click on the tool and then hold your click just like that. And a menu will pop up of similar tools and it's the first one over there. So you just have to select the crop tool. Yeah, that's pretty simple. So what you have to do now in order to crop is to click and drag and select your crop area. Now one thing I want to show you is that you can resize the crop area, and the thing I was talking about when I was talking about snapping in the previous videos is that if you go close to the side of the image, you can see that it's just suddenly gonna boom stick to the side. That's great because if you just go kind of close, see again, it snaps to the side. So if you wanted to take these two sides and then just start moving this one, you could just do that as well. So let's just try that. Okay, and that's what I was talking about snapping. So that's just there to help you make a better cropping selection. Now there are some options up here for your cropping. First of all, there is the grid that you're gonna see. Now if I set this to none, you can see that I don't have any grid inside of my selection. Now the rule of thirds, you can see 9 boxes, and you can read about the rule of thirds on the web. It's about how you position the object that you want to focus on the image, and the grid just has a lot more boxes. It's just there to kind of help you as well. Now I use the rule of thirds because I kind of like it. The seal color has to do with the color that's surrounding your selection, and you can select the color and set its opacity as well. And the opacity is basically how transparent that is and how transparent it's not. It's set to 75% by default. Now if I just right click on my selection and select crop, it's gonna crop. If I select cancel, it's just gonna cancel. So I'll just crop this image, and you can see we made our first crop. Now if I go on to the second image I have right here, I'm gonna show you how to crop this cross and straighten it, because as you can see the image is a little bit rotated. Now I just select the cross, and then if I go a little bit out of this box, a little bit out, you can see this rotating arrow, and you just have to click and drag to the side. And so what that's going to do is basically rotate your selection. And if I'm now correctly rotated, I should get a straight cross. So let's just right click and crop, and you can see I got the cross straight, although the image was a little bit rotated, because you can rotate the crop selection that you have made. Now the next image, we have this island, but somebody probably took this from a boat and they didn't have a good steady hand, so they took this image a little bit rotated as well. Remember the crop tool we had over here is the third tool. Now the crop tool was the ruler tool, I'm sorry, was used to make measurements usually, but it can do another really useful thing, and I think that's what you should use it most for. And you can just click and drag, and you make a line, and basically what you do is you tell Photoshop, I want this line to be straight. It's not straight right now, so this is my measurement, and I want this line that is measuring to be straight. So you just go up here and click straighten, and what that's going to do is basically going to straighten your image. Now what happened is, you see it cropped a little bit off the edges, and I'm going to show you why right now. Now you don't know what that is, but you can get the idea. It first rotates the image, and as you can see it got rotated right here, and first rotated the way we wanted it to be, so as to be straight, and then it cut those edges that had like the background color, and the background color now is gray for some reason. It should be white though. I put it to gray, yeah. So basically it cuts those edges after that. That's why you lose a little bit of the space of the image, of the edges, and that's a nice tool to use if you want to straighten up an image. Now the next example is of rotating an image completely, because a lot of people make the mistake of taking the image upside down whenever it's such an image, you know, for some reason, I don't know why. But if you go in image rotation, Here you get to rotate the whole image, and here you get how many degrees you want to rotate it. You can play with this menu. Arbitrary means that you can set how many degrees you want to rotate it yourself. So I'm just going to rotate it 180 degrees just to get it straight. So that is how you rotate a whole image. And now I have this great example over here of some images, and I want to show you one thing. Imagine that this is basically some scanned images from your printer. Now what you can do with them is basically just crop them automatically from Photoshop. You don't have to get each one of them. You can just go in File, Automate, and select Crop and Straighten Photos. And if those were scanned images, you would have to get them one by one, but that is done by Photoshop by default. And it takes a little bit of a while. You'll see right now. It's going to pop up. And you can see that I got 4 images. 1, 2, oh, come on. 3, 4, 4, yeah. I'm sorry. So it just cropped the images, and it got rid of the white surrounding of it. So that's the idea behind it. And the last thing I'm going to show you, let's just put this down. If you click on this minimize button, you can put this down, is if I have this image and I go in image canvas size and I make the canvas larger, just as we did in the previous tutorial. Let's just make it in centimeters. Yep. Let's just make that 36 and 53. Now we have a border right now, as you can see, and you might not want that border, that white border. You might have an image that was, for some reason, came with a border. You might not want it. If you just go on Edit, if you just go on Image, Trim, and you select which sides you want to trim. I just want to trim all of the sides, top, bottom, left, and right. And you just select that, and you click OK. It's just going to trim the border that you had. And that's just a nice little tool to use whenever you want to trim the border of the image, if you don't want it. Now, the most important tool of the day, and I want to just repeat again because I think it's the most important thing to grasp from today, is the crop tool. Remember its functionality. As always, you click and drag, and you can rotate your selection just by going over here and rotating it. And what else you can do? Oh, I didn't mention that. Yeah, if you hold the shift key and rotate, it's going to rotate at certain angles. As you can see, it just snaps to certain angles. I was talking about snapping before. Yeah, and it just snaps to certain angles. And remember the options that it has up here, and in order to crop, you just right click and crop. And that was it for today. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed the tutorial, and see you guys next time.